Hello everyone and welcome back. I am making this video and I'm making it specifically because a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, somebody that I respect and love and admire, called me and has been calling me for probably the last year or even maybe a little bit longer. And she is an adult child, early 30s, with a long history of drug use and mental illness. And this ongoing sort of pattern of periods where she is actively using, appears to be psychotic, appears to be making some very poor decisions, followed by a period of calmness, right? And it may or may not follow a period of time where the adult child has been in treatment. So if this is starting to sound familiar, even though I made this video because my friend called me and asked me this particular scenario that I'm going to discuss with you, I have a suspicion that this particular pattern of conduct applies to lots and lots and lots of families, because I have heard this story before when it comes to dealing with an adult child who has a long history of behavioral health. So a couple of things have come up in our conversations. Number one, what are the options? Okay, let's talk about that first. So the options are as follows. Number one, you could do absolutely nothing and just let it be. What would be the cause and effect and potential consequences of doing nothing? Well, behavioral health is a disease of the mind. And like any disease, if it's left untreated, unchecked, unfettered, it will continue, it will get worse, and it could potentially destroy the host. Okay, so that's one option. We do absolutely nothing. Number two, we hope that at some point the state steps in. What does that look like? Well, people with behavioral health issues tend to get arrested. So one of the ways the state can step in is you get incarcerated, right? The state steps in, you get arrested, you get prosecuted, and you end up in jail or on probation. But somehow the state has stepped in here. The other way the state can step in is through the mental health system, typically the Baker Act process. And what happens is that people with behavioral health issues occasionally experience a mental health crisis to the point where somebody has to either call 911 and have the police come down, or somebody has to get rushed to the emergency room. And what happens is they get Baker Acted, either by law enforcement or by a doctor in the emergency room, or maybe even somebody runs to the courthouse and files something. That's typically not the way it's done, but that's the second way the state can step in. And I have to tell you, my experience is that when it comes to taking care of people with behavioral health issues, the state is not very good. And I don't care which state you're living in, they're terrible. Sorry to say that. And if you've looked at any of my other videos, that we spend a significant amount of time, energy, and resources getting people out of Florida's draconian and broken mental health system. So I'm not a fan, with the exception that if somebody is actively trying to self-harm, they're suicidal, or there's been a suicide attempt, then yeah, pick up the phone or call 911. That's what the Baker Act's for. So we can get somebody secured, get them assessed, get them stabilized, and hopefully get them at least in a position where they can be released. And then you can talk about treatment options. So you've got do nothing, let the state step in, or hope the state steps in. Or the last option is you actually step in yourself. And what I mean by that is that the family steps in and they decide they're going to get the authority to make the decision that their loved one cannot make because their brain has effectively been hijacked. And that decision involves going to court and getting the legal authority to make the decision to save this person before something tragic happens or the state steps in. And that typically looks like the guardianship process and or the Marchman Act, and not and or, but and maybe the Baker Act as well, right? Maybe we need somebody, stabilized immediately, so we use the Baker Act, and then we use Marchman Act and guardianship to get significant control in a very rapid, efficient process. And that is the way that we like to do things, okay? We want the family making the decision. Your loved one simply can't make it, and I get it. You're worried they might hate you, they might be mad at you, and at least initially they probably will. But while that looks like your loved one, sounds like your loved one, walks like your loved one, right? If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks, it's a duck, right? That is not your loved one. It simply isn't. They're just not running the show right now. And the way to get them back in the game is to get him into treatment, despite the, the sort of potential adversarial nature of this process. And I know it's uncomfortable. I really get it. I know it's uncomfortable, which is why, I tell families when they call us, if you just want papers filed, you got the wrong law firm. We're here to go through the journey with you, cross all the bridges, hold your hand, be there for the ups and downs, because there's going to be ups and downs. And so that was the options piece. The second thing that I was asked was, can we lock this individual down? Can we lock her down? And I have to tell you, I've heard that many times before. A lot of families have said to me, look, we just want to lock them down so we know where they are, they're safe, they can't go anywhere. And that sounds nice in theory, but let me just say a couple of things. Number one, your loved one has a disease. They're not a bad person. They're not a criminal. We're not looking to punish them, which is what effectively happens when you lock somebody down, right? The second thing is, only the state can lock somebody down, right? The state can lock somebody down through the criminal system, put you in jail or prison, or through the mental health system, right? You end up in a locked down Baker Act facility and potentially end up in a locked down state hospital. So only the state can lock you up. And with one caveat, and I hate to confuse you, but I'm going to do the best I can not to. What makes the Marchman Act or the guardianship process work is its enforceability, the consequences for your loved one not doing what they've been told to do, right? Ignoring the wishes of the guardian, not going to treatment as ordered under the Marchman Act. And so the consequences for violating the court order are contempt. What does contempt look like? Well, it may mean a little time in the county jail, right? And again, we're not trying to punish somebody, but we are trying to take control of their life, albeit for a short period of time, until we can get them stabilized and treated and in the game. And what I mean by in the game, starting to experience recovery and working the program, the recovery program. And so, I can't lock your loved one up, at least initially. Are some facilities more secure than others? Yeah, some are more secure than others. Are some facilities in a more remote location? Yes, some are more remote than others, which makes it, less likely that they're going to run out because there's nowhere to run to. And so I just wanted to share that video. If my good friend is watching this, please know that I love you. I care about you. We want to help you. And these are the options. And if you're a family out there who listens to this video and you've lived this story, and you want to talk about what options may or may not be available, legal and non-legal, give us a call. We would like to talk to you. And if you have any comments or questions, please post them. I read them all. As long as we're respectful, because occasionally I get somebody who's not. I'm okay if you disagree with me. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to interact with you. And if you're seeing an issue in your family, please post that in the video. I'll make another video for you, because if it's affecting your family, it's almost certainly going to affect another family. And with that said, I would appreciate a thumbs up. They say it helps the algorithm. And if you want more of this content, because I try to put out a video or two or three every single day, so you can get the information that you need, please subscribe to the channel. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.